Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. If you follow basketball, you know Chilltown Hoops.
So this is really good right here. Yo, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. What's happening? We are in effect. Y'all know what we do around here. You know where to find me. Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. I'm on TikTok. If I'm not there, you can catch me on the panel from 11 to 2 on the Players Choice Network right here on YouTube. If I'm not there, you can catch me weeknights right here on Chilltown Hoops. If it's either me here or with my man Tony Tone on the Chilltown Hoops Network and the Sports Fluent Network. We've moved the show this week from Tuesday to Thursday because of the in-season tournament championship last night. So me and my man Tony Tone will be doing it tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at our regularly scheduled time, just 2 days later. And if I'm not there, you can find me on Saturdays with my man Big Ox. You can find me on Saturdays with my man Big Ox at 12 o'clock on the Players Choice Network on Chill with Chill. So I'm not hard to find. And me and my man Tony Tone had to move it because the in-season tournament championship was last night. And for all intents and purposes, I thought it was a great game. I thought it was a fantastic game. I thought that the Milwaukee Bucks took advantage of a deficiency that Oklahoma City has. Now, there's some people who, when you see a team that's good, you immediately think that they're there. I was one of those people who I still think that there's steps to take. And I don't think Oklahoma City is there yet. I think they're close, right? I do think that they're close. I just don't think that they're there yet. Even if they had Chet, right? Even if they had Chet, I still don't think that they were there yet, unfortunately. And the reason why I don't think they're there yet, I still think that there's some kinks that SGA needs to figure out. I think that there's some kinks that J-Dub needs to figure out that he doesn't have yet. I think his shot creation is really good, but I just think that he's got to mature a little bit more. I think they lack size. They got a bunch of guys on the crew. What up, Leaf? They got a bunch of guys on the crew that are small, and I think that Milwaukee took advantage of that yesterday. My game plan against Oklahoma City was to give a steady diet of Giannis because they had no answer for him. None whatsoever. What I saw yesterday, because my biggest gripe with Milwaukee was their perimeter defense and the fact that Damian Lillard will not compete at the level that it takes to win the NBA championship. But it looked yesterday, and I'm not going to go overboard, but it looked yesterday like they have some guys that may be able to protect him. I'm still not there yet with Milwaukee. I still think that they're fool's gold. I'm not there yet with them. I still think that they're fool's gold in the sense that they're winning the NBA championship, because in order to win the NBA championship, you have to. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that it's in your best interest. I'm saying that you have to compete at a high level on the perimeter, on defense, in order to have a chance to win. And I feel like Damian Lillard never did that. He competed yesterday, though. The question is can he do that on a consistent basis? And can guys like Andre Jackson, AJ Green, can guys like that protect him consistently? Now, don't get me wrong. We live in a world where in basketball, you got to hold your own. You know, the term is called hiding them. The term is called hide. You know, teams hide other guys. I don't call it that. And I don't call it that off the strength that teams do a great job of scouting. And on top of that, we live in a world today in the NBA where teams do a great job in mismatch hunting. They don't do a good job in it. They do a great job in mismatch hunting where they make guys almost unplayable, where they make guys obsolete. What up, Haas? How you doing, brother? They make guys almost unplayable. So a guy like Damian Lillard, if you got guys like Andre Jackson, AJ Green, Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr., if you got guys like that to protect Damian Lillard, sure. I think you need better guys. I think you need better guys to protect him. What up, Breezy? You need better guys. And I feel like this is the time right now for Milwaukee to upgrade at the perimeter because you already seen it. You've already seen it. That's why I'm saying right now is the best time to upgrade that roster. And who better than to upgrade that roster with a team that's having a fire sale, which is the New Orleans Pelicans. Call them up and ask for Herb Jones. Now, they've already said that, and I understand this, they've already said that Herb Jones is off limits. Well, one of the things that I found out in life is once the door is open, there's really not much that's off limits. We can talk about it. And if we can talk about it, that's really all I need. That's really all I need is if we can talk about it. If I can get you in a room and we can have a conversation, all right. Because then I can ask questions, then I can check your temperature. I can do all of that stuff. No, he can't, Jacob. That's just not true. No, he cannot. He's shown in the past that when you get to the later rounds in the playoffs, he's proven that he will get fried. He's proven that. And I don't mean fried in the aspect that we're going bucket for bucket, where he can't slow down the better defender. He can't slow down the better offensive players. Steph Curry clearly outplays him. Clearly in the playoffs. And that effort that we need to be there, it's just not there on a consistent basis. But that's where guys like Herb Jones come in. That's why I'm asking the Milwaukee Bucks. And there's some people who are telling me, well, the Milwaukee Bucks don't have the assets for Herb Jones. Yes, they do. What do you think Herb Jones is going for? If Mikal Bridges, first of all, Herb Jones is on the books for a little bit of money. We can start there. He's not on the books for a lot of money. He's on the books for a little bit of money. We'll start there. Number two, I mean, Mikal Bridges went for what? 5 1s, 6 1s, and Bojan. I'm confident that we could give up a couple of young kids. We could give up those kids because that's what the Pelicans are doing. They're starting over, right? They're starting over. So we can give up a couple of our kids and a couple of first-round picks for Herb Jones because that's what they're doing in New Orleans. They're starting over. They're having a fire sale. They've already put Zion on the market. They already moved off of Dyson Daniels, right? They moved off of Dyson Daniels. They moved off of Larry Nance. They moved off of Najee. They put Zion on the market. Brandon Ingram decided not to re-up. So with that being said, call up the New Orleans Pelicans because that was my issue with Milwaukee. That's why I thought that they were fool's gold because on their perimeter defense, they don't have anybody to consistently protect Damian Lillard, who consistently gets hunted. Now, the schemes that they run, you can make those schemes conducive to a player that you're trying to protect. Play more zone. Don't switch as much. Don't die on ghost screens because a lot of those screens, because I saw Damian Lillard doing it yesterday, I saw him getting around a lot of those screens, which is good. Now, with that being said, when you run into teams that run a lot of action, that because they screen, they force a lot of switches, which forces a lot of mismatches, like the Boston Celtics, like the Dallas Mavericks. That's the key to forcing switches when you screen. And the Boston Celtics do a great job at that. That's why they get those mismatches with Porzingis. Cleveland, that's why they get those mismatches with Mobley. Because Mobley set screens, because Jared Allen set screens. That's why they're one of the best, if not the best, pick and dive team in the league. Because they screen. Well, when you set screens and you get those mismatches, now you got Damian Lillard covering Evan Mobley diving to the basket. That's a mismatch that you don't want. That's why you have guys like Herb Jones to protect guys like Damian Lillard, where he'll get himself around screens more. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You have to be in a space, right? You have to be in a space where you're going to compete. And you have to be in a space where you got guys to compete on defense. So to have a guy like Herb Jones on your crew, Taurean Prince on your crew, guys that are going to compete, that's infectious. I'm watching the 22 West Finals with the Warriors in Dallas, and they are consistently hunting Steph Curry to try to get him on that switch with Luka. Curry is getting around those screens. That's called competing. And that's the issue that I have with Dame. Dame dies a lot on screens, and they don't have anybody to protect him, which in the end causes the biggest problem for them. I thought Giannis could have been better. As good as he was, I mean, Giannis went almost 20 and 20. There isn't much more that he could have done, but with that being said, I thought Giannis could have done a better job in speeding up the game. I thought Giannis could have done a better job in transition, because when he took the ball off the glass, I felt like he was playing at their pace. He didn't allow them to speed him up, but I don't think he forced the action as much as he could have. I knew that he could out-physical those guys because they're small. And I knew that he would be the mismatch, because when you got guys like J-Dub on him and Lou Dort, no. Lou Dort can't cover Giannis. Alex Caruso can't cover Giannis. Now, what he can do is he can make it difficult on Giannis as much as he can, but in the end, it wasn't enough. That 26 Giannis had yesterday should have been 40, off the strength of him getting to the rim more, because they didn't have anybody that could slow him down like that. They did not have anybody that could slow him down like that. And because they didn't have anybody that could slow him down like that, I felt like he could have done more. But for what he did, and I don't want to discount what Giannis did. I mean, he went almost 20, he went almost 25 and 20 last night with 10 dimes. I have to, and I said this to the fellas earlier today, and I'm having a difficult time with it. This is the second time I've seen this from these guys, man. Which is what goes back to my original logic of them not being ready yet. Because last night, there were no other games. Right? Last night, there were no other games. None whatsoever. The in-season tournament championship was the only game on TV last night. Not the only game on TV last night. I take that back. That was the only game that was being played last night. The only game. And because it was the only game, the spotlight was on these guys. And for the Oklahoma City Thunder to shoot the way that they did last night, I'm not buying the logic that, sometimes you make shots, sometimes you don't. No. No way. No. Not on the stage that big. To lay an egg like that. And they got a lot of open looks. And I want to make sure that we're clear. I didn't think that Milwaukee's defense was fantastic. No, I thought that they did a good job. And Andre Jackson is a prime example. I thought he did a good job in getting around screens. I thought he did a good job in fighting over screens. And when he was able to make things difficult for Shai, I thought he did a good job at that. But J-Dub got a lot of open looks. Alex Caruso got a lot of open looks. Shai got a lot of open looks. Lou Dort got a lot of open looks. Wallace got a lot of open looks. Wiggins got a lot of open looks. And for those guys, just at the long ball line alone, because that's where we live today. We live in an NBA where you have to be able to shoot the long ball. You have to be able to do that. And with them laying an egg like that, I think they shot 17% at the long ball line last night on that bigger stage. I think that's a choke job. I do. I think that's a choke job. This is the same Oklahoma City team that's right outside the top 10 in threes made per game. I think they're at 12. I think they're at 12. They put up. I think they're right outside. They're right around average, if a little bit above average, in 3-point attempts. They're below average in percentage. To get on that big a stage and to shoot like that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable right there. I'm thinking about an Oklahoma City team who I already felt like they were a year away anyway. I didn't look at this team saying that this team could win the NBA championship this year. I didn't think that they were there yet. I thought they could get there because that's the necessary step. I mean, we go from a team that was in the play-in tournament to last year, they're in the playoffs and they lose in the second round, to this year, they're at the top of the Western Conference and they could be representing the West. I still think that they're a year away from really winning it. That's even with Chet being healthy. That's with Chet being healthy. I saw them in the playoffs last year, and I saw SGA at the end of that Dallas game make that bonehead play. And I think anybody can do that, sure. And they basically forced, right? They forced PJ Washington to crack the long ball, and he did that. Wide open. But last night, I saw an Oklahoma City team that looked prepared in terms of a scheme. They got the action that they wanted. I see a lot of flex cuts. I see a lot of down screens. Wiggins coming off of pin downs and down screens, wide open for shots. It's just a matter of them not making shots. And I think that last night was indicative that maybe we're not there yet. We're getting close. Maybe we're not there yet. I don't think that we're there yet. I got a super chat that I got to read really quickly, and that's from Product by P. Product by P said, does winning the NBA Cup make the Bucks the favorite to win the title this year? Not according to what I've seen in the past. I mean, the Lakers won a cup last year, and they got served in the first round of the playoffs. They got served. So, I mean, I don't think that winning the cup championship, which, by the way, I'm on board with. I want to make sure that I reiterate that. Winning a cup championship, I think that's one, great for ratings. I think that's good as a springboard to help your crew get better because you see the better competition, and having an in-season tournament, it could be a preview for what the finals may look like or what the playoffs may look like. We have a preview of that. However, I'm not going to go overboard and go, Oklahoma City sucks. No, they don't. No, they do not. No, they do not. But what I did see last night was I saw a team. I saw a team that I'm not sure that they're there yet, and they still have some work to do. And I saw a lot of I see a lot of not comments, but I see a lot of posts about SGA without him getting to the free throw line. He's nothing. That couldn't be further from the truth. SGA got a lot of open looks last night. SGA has that thing on a string. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes with the basketball. I'm not a fan of him being behind the long ball line as much as he is, because I don't really think that that's his game. That pull-up three, I think he's trying to add that to his game, but I don't really think that that's much of his game. And I don't want that to be too much of his game because it takes away, one, his mid-range, and two, it takes away his downhill game. And the reason why I say it takes away his downhill game is because he gets wrapped up in the long ball. And with him getting wrapped up in the long ball, now that's teams not necessarily crowding him at the long ball line, because he doesn't really shoot it that well at the long ball line. I think he's shooting somewhere like 33, 34%. So nobody's really crowding him at the long ball line. Where he's the most efficient is in his in-between game and getting to the rim. That's where I think that he's the most efficient. Getting to the rim, keeping guys at bay, creating space in between. That's where I think he's the most. I think he's the most effective. Now, I think he's trying to add that long ball to his game, which I think is good. Now, which I think is good. What up, Mace? How you doing, brother? Which I think is good. I'm not going to argue that adding that long ball to his game is a bad thing. No, I think that's a good thing because I think that expands his game. What I don't like is I don't like him falling in love with that. It's just like with Ant Edwards, shooting 11, 12 threes. I'm good on that. I'm good on that because I feel like when you fall in love with the long ball like that, you take away from the most effective areas of your game. Like I hear people like I was talking to the fellas today, and a question was posed to me: where do you think guys are the most effective? Well, the closer you get to the basket, the more likely you are to score. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. That's not something that I'm making up. That is fact. The closer you get to the rim, the more likely you are that your shots are going to go in and you're going to score. That is a fact. Now, I know that we live in a world where you have to shoot the long ball line. I mean, you have to play at the long ball line. But I thought that they played right into Milwaukee's hands. And their lack of size was the difference in last night's game. Because of their lack of size, I thought that before the game started, that they would have no answer for Giannis. And the fact that you want to take Hartenstein and you want to put him on Giannis, that's going to work for a little while. Eventually, Giannis being the physical guy that he is, being the physical guy that Giannis is, being the punisher that he is, that's going to wear on you, which it did with Hartenstein. Like you saw Hartenstein early in the game, that left-handed, because he's left-handed, that floater was working. Well, as Giannis started to pound on him and started to wear on him, that floater wasn't working as much in the third quarter. That floater was short, and that's because of legs. And why? Because I'm trying to hold Giannis up. Man, because I'm trying to hold Giannis up, that's wearing on me. So I felt like Giannis could have his way with this team. I don't think he had his way with them as much as he could have, and that's largely due to him not speeding up the game like I thought he would. I thought he would speed up the game more. And for the record, shots look a lot different when they're going in for the other team. So the fact that Wiggins and Wallace and Isaiah Joe, the fact that these guys weren't making shots, the fact that AJ Green and Trent and Dame were making shots, that compounded what was wrong with Oklahoma City. That made it worse for them. Now, I know that we live in a world where you have to be able to shoot the long ball. And you don't have to shoot it like Steph Curry. You don't have to shoot it like Klay Thompson. You don't have to do that. I don't think that you have to do that. You don't have to shoot the ball like Kyle Korver. No, you don't. But you have to be able to knock down an open shot. And when I'm watching Jackson, he's reminding me of Andre Roberson. Because I'm seeing Dame get downhill, and with Dame getting downhill, Jackson is wide open at the long ball line. With Jackson being wide open at the long ball line, that thing has to go in. And I'm not saying that you got to knock down every last one of them, but you have to be a threat at the long ball line. You have to be. And if you're not going to be a threat at the long ball line, you can take a step in. You can take a step in. And if you take that step in and you knock down that 17, 18-footer, guess what happens? The defense can't help off of you as much. And that's easier lanes to the basket for Dame. That's better looks at the rim for Giannis because we can't help off you. So in addition to you being the defender that you are, which I didn't realize, I was trying to figure out. I didn't realize that AJ was that defender. I had asked earlier this season, and not even just this season. I asked last year too. Like, what's the story with him? What's the plan with AJ Jackson? Andre Jackson, I'm sorry. What's the plan with Andre Jackson? What are you guys doing with him? What exactly is the plan with him? What is he? Is he the perimeter defender that you're looking for? And if that's the case, what's the holdup? Why isn't he in the lineup? Well, because he can't shoot it. But he was great on defense last night. I thought he did a great job getting around screens, getting over screens, getting under screens, reading the defense. I thought he was great last night at that. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to overreact to what happened last night. Does this mean that Oklahoma City is a fraud? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It does not mean that Oklahoma City is a fraud. In fact, it gives me an idea of what Oklahoma City needs to work on. And what does Oklahoma City need to work on? They just need to be more experienced. Those bright lights are what I saw in the playoffs last year, what I saw last night. Those lights might be a little bit too bright for them, just a little bit. And it's about I feel like it's about them just learning, and the only way to learn is to be out there. Big fella, what's up? My man, my man, Big Ox came through with the chat. He says they're not frauds, but they're certainly not title contenders. And to Ox's point, I mean, I think they are. I think they are a title contender. I just don't, because you could be a title contender and not win it. Just like you can be a heavyweight champion contender. You can be the third-ranked contender in the heavyweight division. Does that mean that you win in the heavyweight championship? No. But you are a contender. You're somebody who can compete at that level. You're just not there yet. That's where I'm at with Oklahoma City. I just don't think they're there yet. I think they're getting close. And if you look at their progression, they go from the in-season tournament and Shai getting his face busted up to last year advancing to the second round to this year being at the top of the Western Conference and having the best record in the West. So I feel like they're on a trajectory. I think they're going. I think they're going the right way. That part I can get with. The question is how far away is Oklahoma City? That's the $1 million question. How far are they? I think that they, for all intents and purposes, I think they can make it to the finals. With Chet in the lineup, I think they can make it to the finals. I still think that they're a year away from winning it, though. I don't think they're there yet. Very much like very much like how I feel about Cleveland. Very much like how I feel about Cleveland. This comment right here is exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. That series is going to come down to my best player is better than your best player. Because if you look at this roster and you look at who they are in terms of how evenly matched they are, Denver doesn't have a great bench. Well, I don't think that Milwaukee's got a great bench. I think they got some good rotation players. Bobby Portis is a damn good rotation player. AJ Green is a good rotation player, just like Christian Brown is a good rotation player. Right? Just like Peyton Watson is a good rotation player. But ultimately, we're going to have a nip and tuck game, and that game is going to come down to, in the end, that game is going to come down to my best player is better than your best player. And I think Joker outplays Giannis. He's going to get to the stripe. He's going to score the basketball. That's why I think that they beat them. Not because Denver's playing in the Western Conference and they play in a tougher conference. I'm not trying to hear that. No, because I don't think that there's that big of a gap between both Denver and Oklahoma and Milwaukee. I don't think that there's a huge gap between those guys. Not at all. I think that they're pretty. I think that they're pretty even. And if I'm going to give the edge to one team, I'm going to give that edge to Denver off the strength that I think that it's going to come down to my best player is better than your best player. And I think that Joker outplays Giannis in the end. I'm not sure if Giannis wants to go to the stripe when we get into a nip and tuck game. I think Joker does. I don't think that Giannis wants to. I don't think Giannis can consistently play bully ball when we get into a nip and tuck game with Aaron Gordon, because that's going to mean going to the stripe. I do think that he could have his way. I do think that, but I just feel like with these two teams, I think ultimately Joker is gonna have to I think Joker's going to outplay Giannis, and I think that's going to be the difference in the series. So I'm wondering what I'm wondering is where does this what does this do now for the in-season tournament? Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the in-season tournament, I think it's great, man. I do. But when it goes away, my issue is when it goes away, I think we're entering now. Today is the 18th of December. We're getting to the end of December and then early January. So it's that end of December, like that last week of December, through all the way through January, trying to get to the All-Star break. These are the dog days. These are the dog days of the season. So how do we keep the fans interested? Well, we keep the fans interested because of the in-season tournament. We keep them. So when we see Milwaukee and Atlanta in the in-season tournament, we get excited to see them now during the dog days of the regular season. Oklahoma City still has to play Milwaukee 2 more times. That in-season tournament, that was just the championship game. Excuse me. They still got to play each other 2 more times after this. Oklahoma City's got to come to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's got to go to Oklahoma City. So they still got to see each other again. And I feel like with the in-season tournament, this has created something. I feel like this has created something good. Yep. I feel like this has created something really good for the NBA because they got to still see each other. So with that, Houston has already played Oklahoma City, I think, twice. So I think they still have to see them 2 more times. So we get 2 more. We get 2 more Houston, Oklahoma Cities, or maybe 1 more Houston, Oklahoma City, which also, when we see that in the in-season tournament, is a preview for the playoffs, which I think is great. I think it's fantastic because it keeps the fans interested. Because again, we're coming up on that time. We're coming up on that time where it's the dog days of the season. And I promise you guys this. We're going to find out who's going to be there at the end. Right? We're going to find out who's going to be there at the end. Right? We're going to find out who's going to be there at the end by what these guys do at the end of December, all of January, and right before the All-Star break. Right before the All-Star break, we find out. So with that, where are we in the season right now? I think we're in a good space. I do. I think we're in a damn good space. I was not a fan at all of the in-season tournament. I thought it was a money grab. I just wasn't interested in it at all. And this is now something, right? This is now something. And for those of you that are here right now, just so you know, just for you guys that are here right now, I'm sure that you see the link in the chat. Mike has just said, look what Mike just said. Mike just said, Chilltown Hoops, drop the link so I can cook the gray off you, fool. As you can see, the link is in the chat, right? And then Mike says again, Chilltown Hoops, you can't hide now. It's time to stand on your nuts. Well, there's the link in the chat. There it is. The link is right there in the chat, sir. Yep. There's the link in the chat. It's right there. But anyway, as I was saying, I think we're in a space. I think we're in a space with the in-season tournament that it brings more buzz to the regular season. And I feel like it brings more buzz to the regular season, right? I feel like it brings more buzz to the regular season, and it makes divisional games a bigger deal. I think it makes conference. I think it makes conference games. So if you got Oklahoma City, right? If you got Oklahoma City in the same division with Denver, okay, that's not really, that's a division game, but it's also a prelude to the playoffs, right? It's also a prelude to the playoffs, and uh, with it being a prelude to the playoffs, I think the fan is more interested in it, right? I think the fan is more interested in it. But when you have Atlanta and Orlando, that's a division game, and now that sparks more interest, right? I feel like that sparks more interest, and because it sparks more interest, you can get more eyes on it. That's why I feel like that's why I feel like the in-season tournament is really helping. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say and what you thought about the in-season tournament. What up?
Oh my God, I'm going first. Oh, I wasn't even ready. I'm ready though. I'm ready. I gotta say, chill. Can you hear me, chill?
You hot? Yes, sir.
Yo, I was hoping that you know what I'm saying, my super chat get spoke on and y'all spoke on it. I say, yo, I gotta show love to Chill. Shout to Ron, shout to Mars, shout to Big Ox. Yo, y'all took care of that. Y'all took care of that super chat like mac and cheese next to yams. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say I appreciate that. Subscribe to Player's Choice, subscribe to Chill Town Hoops. And I went and did my due diligence because you said come up off of one of those picks. So I said, let me go and see what kind of picks they got. OKC 2025 got 1 through 6 Philly protected. What?
On,
Miami Heat 1 through 14. What? Utah Jazz 2025 1 through 10 protected. Give me one of those.
Come on, man. Give me one of those, man. You can hand over one of those. You can.
Chill. Let's just discuss it real quick. Chill. All right, hold on. I would trade them, not me, but hopefully the Brooklyn Nets would trade Cam Johnson, and I would say, and this is debatable because I don't watch college basketball, because I don't really know about Topic, but I know he's coming off an ACL injury, and I know it's serious, right? So I'm saying that one of those 3 picks, the Philly pick 1 through 6 protected, the Utah pick 1 through 10 protected, or the Miami Heat 1 through 14 protected, is more valuable than getting Topic back. So if we could give up Cam Johnson and get one of those picks, I would do it. Talk to me, Chill. How you feel about that? Talk to me.
If you take one of those if you took one of those picks, you think it's more valuable than Topic. First of all, I think Topic, I don't know what he is. That's number one. Right. I don't know I don't know who Topic is, and I don't know what he's gonna look like. But from what I'm understanding, he might be the league guard of the future. So if I'm
no, but hold on, chill. I gotta slow it down. Because again, the reason why I said what I said is to get context. So before you say that, is Mars said we should go after Dylan Harper in that same super chat. So how important is Topic to the Brooklyn Nets if we get one of those draft picks for Cam Johnson and we going after Dylan Harper anyway?
I'm good on, to be honest with you, Breezy, I'm good on Dylan Harper. I want to go with the Euro. Yeah, I want to go with the Euro because from what I've seen, whether it's in footage and the scouting report on him, this dude is a star.
Okay.
This dude is a star, and he's somebody that I could build my unit around. So if that's true, I mean, don't get me wrong, Dylan Harper could be something special. And just like Dylan Harper could be something, special, this kid Topic could be something special too. But I think that if I had to choose between the two of them, I think I'm going with Topic.
All right, so not to be
league guard, yeah, I'm going with
it. Not to be long-winded. What if let's say they were listening to this podcast and they say, you know what, we're going to side with Chill, and they went with Topic. Do you think that makes room for Ace Bailey to get in that first pick? I mean, one of that top picks, instead of getting Dylan Harper with that pick, we get Ace Bailey and have Topic and Ace Bailey next to Cam Thomas. Like, what are we talking about?
I hate it. If you could pry Topic away from Oklahoma City and have another top 5 pick, yikes! Wow, I would love that. Yes, sir.
All right.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So, Good to talk to you, Breezy. You know where to
Thank
find
you.
me
Thank
at,
you,
brother.
Chill. No, I appreciate
Absolutely. No doubt. What up, Sneed?
What up, Chill?
What's up, brother?
Can you hear me okay?
You hot?
All right, bro. So I want to talk a little bit about the in-season tournament and the whole Emirates Cup. I actually think this year was a success, and I'm going to tell you why. The outcome of the cup is what was really good. The Bucks have been one of the worst teams for like the first dozen or so games.
They were garbage.
They were trash. We talked about it.
Garbage.
Remember, I questioned whether or not they had an identity, and at the time they did not. But they do now. Their identity is the foundation of what Giannis is displaying through the media, through his play. This dude's playing at MVP level for sure. All time, really. Like some of the stuff he's doing on night in, night out basis is incredible. I mean, he's hitting some shots. He's getting to the hole with vigor. I mean, he's incredible. Like he's a great player. And there have been moments where I've been down on him because he can't shoot. But like somehow, some way, he finds a way to get 40 points a game, right? And he makes these incredible defensive plays, and he carries his team, right? So the Bucks win the tournament, and then he sets the tone by saying, "It's nice, we'll enjoy it tonight, but we got the Cavs on Friday." He's creating culture. The Bucks have turned the first start of the year, the beginning part of the year, this awful start, to now this, right? They put together some good momentum. They've turned their season around. And that's a team that doesn't really get much, notoriety amongst the big media. They don't get coverage, right?
Sure.
Think about it. So we're always talking about LeBron and the shitty Lakers. Like 90% of the time, it's about those bums. JJ Redick can't coach. That team can't play defense.
Right.
And it's always about how LeBron's getting numbers, but they're losing. Who cares? That stuff doesn't even mean anything.
I'm on record, Sneed. I'm on record saying that if Giannis was from Chicago, he'd be the face of the league.
I agree.
If Giannis was from New York, he'd be the face of the league. But the fact that he's from Europe, which
I agree,
which because he's from Europe, I feel like they should be enforcing that a little bit more, but they're not, off the strength that it's Europe. And I think that audience is not who they're trying to attract, when in reality, that's who they should be trying to attract.
But he also doesn't speak the talk, right? He's humble. Yeah. He's quiet. And I don't want to say he stumbles over his words, but he's not the definitive spokesperson of the NBA. That person's always been more the representative of the urban NBA. He's not that. You see what I'm saying?
Even though he is from Chicago, even though he is from Brooklyn, it's just in Greece.
Right.
It's just in Athens. He's from there.
But nobody would.
He's from that same type of background.
But nobody knows that story, though.
But I appreciate Giannis staying focused. I mean, just so we clear, Sneed, that game Friday against Cleveland, it's a division game.
Yes, sir.
So would it be in a division game? And they already beat us twice.
Twice.
Year. Yep. They already beat us twice.
Once with Giannis, once without.
Right. So this is something. Now, a lot of people, they disregard the regular season. I saw Phoenix beat Minnesota last year 3 times in the regular season. Minnesota mopped them in the playoffs. I mean, because matchups are everything. I think the scheme changed. However, there is a confidence that you have when you're dealing with regular season teams. And I think that Cleveland is going to look at Milwaukee different this Friday. They just came off of winning the in-season tournament. They got a lot of momentum. I think they won 8 of their last 10.
Yeah.
Yep. I think they won 8 of their last 10 games. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna tune into that game.
They're as full powered as they've been, and they've got momentum on their side. The system is in place. Dame's hitting shots. You got Portis hitting shots. You got Lopez hitting shots. They're playing defense. They're getting stops. They held the Thunder to 81 yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so they're playing defense, and Giannis, of course, their anchors that defense. But chill, I'm telling, nobody would know what the Bucks have been doing if they didn't see those cup games, right? So actually, the cup and the games themselves, it's not really about fans directly. It's about engaging the players, investing into something so they play harder, so they got more cameras on them, and then the product on the court looks better, and the fans are engaged with it. That's really what it's about. Chill.
Fair
I mean, you know better than me. You know, I hear you guys on Player's Choice. I hear you do it on your channel all the time. We talk about the quality of the game. I've been seeing quality games in the cup. So I've
Absolutely.
enjoyed the game. So I'm happy about it. I'm good with
Yes.
it. Chill. I don't want to take all your time, bro. I appreciate
Mhm.
you. Salute, bro. I'll see you
Absolutely,
on the
brother.
next one.
Good to talk to you, no doubt. Mike, you all talk. You've been all talk. You always be all. You are all. You were all talk. You are all talk, and you'll always be all talk. That's what you are, Mike. That's exactly what you are. You've always been that. The link works for Sneed. The link worked for everybody else, but the link didn't work for you. And the reason why the link didn't work for you is because you all talk. Take those marbles out of your mouth and learn how to debate. And then you could come talk to me. The link is in the chat for you, brother. It's always been in the chat for you, and it'll always be in the chat for you. But you're all talk. That's what you were, that's what you are, and that's what you'll always be. And the people in the chat, not just here, but in other places, they see that you're a fraud too. They know that you're a fraud. What up?
Yo, how's it going, Chill? Can you hear me?
What up? You hot?
All right, so I was just wondering your take on. I mean, I had a couple questions. The OKC, that's my team, and I was just wondering, like, do you think they have like a good chance with Chet in the playoffs against the Denver team, like in a 7-game series?
I think they can win the Western Conference. I think they can win the Western Conference with Chet. I think that they are taking steps, but I still think that they're a year away from winning the NBA championship. I don't think they're there yet.
A year? You think?
Mhm.
I mean,
I
I'm
think that they're a
thinking.
year away.
Yeah, I mean, I think like in the next 2 years or so, we're gonna see for sure. And I mean, it's all about Chet staying healthy, in my opinion. But yeah, and then my other question was,
Mhm.
what kind of perimeter defense, like defenders, like you would like to see on the Bucks moving forward? Because I know it's all about the perimeter defense with them. You're saying that. So what kind of like perimeter defensive players do you think would
I'm
be good
just
on
looking
that
for
team?
somebody to protect Dame more. Now, if I've always felt like, I've always felt like, and I've seen this in gangs a lot. You know, you walk taller when you're walking with somebody that's of that stature. So if Dame was alongside Herb Jones or somebody like that, you'd see Dame competing a little bit more on defense because that energy resonates.
Yeah.
You'd see him with Giannis competing more. And I think a guy like Herb Jones, who I think it's feasible for the Milwaukee Bucks to get him. I don't think that that's something that's unrealistic. I think that's feasible for them to do that. With that being said, I think what they have now and what I saw yesterday, if that's a prelude to how they can defend, I think that they'll be competitive. But I think that's the thing that's holding them back. That's holding them back, and I'm still not sure about Giannis when we get in the meat and potatoes of games. And I'm worried about his health. Over the last 2 years, I've seen him break down at the end of the season, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, dude, if they get their perimeter defense together, they're like right there at the top.
Yes.
So I'll see you there. I appreciate the time, man. I love the
All right,
channel.
brother.
So
Good to talk
yeah,
to you.
have a good one.
Yep. What up?
Yo, what up, Joe?
What up, brother?
What up? What up? Yeah, the in-season tournament was great, and like the guy over here earlier said, it pretty much changed the whole Bucks season and turned their whole season around.
Mm-hmm.
But my only thing is just in regards to the championship game. I mean, because it didn't count, I didn't take much from that game
I
because,
don't like the fact that it didn't count, Classic.
and I
Why?
hate that, Chill.
Why are they disregarding that? I don't get
Right.
that. Why are you guys taking that off the table? Is it because that one game is 83 games instead of 82 games? I mean, is that the problem? Because with
Yeah,
the
I
rest
think
of the
that
games,
if the team won it, they would have like a 83 game schedule instead of 82. But they
mm,
still got to reward the team for winning the in-season cup besides just the money. And that's why I had sent that super chat early in the show today because I was
right,
like, if you're for OKC, if you're shooting bad from three, why would you be motivated to play defense in a game that's not going to affect your record? And I mean, maybe I was thinking wrong in thinking that, but I don't think they would
right,
try hard if you're already not shooting well from three.
right. But I do think that if you aren't shooting well, being on that kind of stage, and the idea that that's the only thing that's going on. There's nothing else going on last night except the in-season tournament championship game. So for us to get on that stage with the lights being the brightest for the NBA stage and we not shooting well from three, I think that there's other ways that we have to find. There's other ways that we have to find a way to score, because I don't think that because this doesn't count toward our record, that's enough for us not to try. No, because this is a team that we could see possibly, if we're trying to get to the championship, they are too. So if we start shooting bad, are we not going to try against them too? If we start shooting bad against Dallas, are we not going to try against them? Because, I mean, even though that counts, are we not going to try against them? I'm having a difficult time with that logic, considering the stage that it was on. If it was January, I could get with your logic, Classic. But, I mean, this isn't the dog days of the season. Now, I feel like that was, up until this point, that was the biggest game of the NBA season.
Right. I guess I understand where you're coming from. It's just that with the way OKC's been playing, going forward, even after
Yep.
that loss they took last night, who do you think is going to win their next game, the Bucks or the Thunder? Because I think that the Bucks can definitely lose the next game that's going to count, Friday versus Cleveland. But
Well,
I don't
they've
think the
already lost
Thunder are
twice.
losing to the Magic.
They've already lost twice to Cleveland. So, and I think Cleveland's going to have some extra motivation, right? I feel like Cleveland is going to have some extra motivation in order to keep themselves good. I think they're going to have some extra motivation, even though they've already beat them twice. Having Milwaukee come into their building, I'm not sure if it's in Milwaukee, if it's in Cleveland, but having to see Milwaukee, who just came off of the in-season tournament championship, and they rolling right now. And this is, by the way, Classic, this is for the division. So to answer your question, I mean, Orlando has been depleted. No France. Nope. I don't think Paolo is back yet. So I think this team has been pretty beat up. This Cleveland team, this is a preview of what the playoffs could look like. So I think that we're going to get a great game. And I think that Cleveland's going to be ready for Milwaukee. I have them beating Milwaukee.
Okay, I don't think Milwaukee's going to beat Cleveland.
Yep.
And then just one last thing in regards to I know earlier I think you and Ox were saying that the Bucks didn't play good defense, that the Thunder was just missing shots. But I actually think that is good defense, because it's been a lot of teams shooting bad this year. The
Mhm.
Bulls, who was it? The Bulls and the Hornets missed like 75 threes.
Yes.
If
Well,
a team is still going to shoot,
before you go any further, Classic, I just want to make. I don't want you to get Ox what he said wrong. So I want Ox to make sure that what you said was correct, because I don't want Ox's words to get misconstrued, because I got the big fella right here.
Okay, what's up, Chill? What's up,
I
Classic?
just want to make sure
What's
make sure that we, because you know me, Ox, I don't like putting words in nobody's mouth, right? So let's make sure we get it correct. I mean, Ox.
If I did say that, those weren't. That's not what I intended. I believe what I said was that they played decent defense, but their defense isn't what stopped OKC from making shots. I think OKC still got a lot of wide open shots. But like I said, I think Jackson and Green, even Dame was competing, but specifically Jackson, Green, and Gary Trent,
Yep.
I think they played really good defense. But
Absolutely.
I don't think that their defense was the reason they missed a lot of shots, or the reason that their 3-point percentage was so bad last night. I think they just missed a lot of open looks.
Fair enough.
yeah. My thing is that though, when somebody is shooting bad, and y'all play basketball, I didn't, but I know like when I used to play pickup and stuff, when a guy was missing shots and every time he shoot it, y'all would say he with us. We would say he with us.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got teams like that are just shooting bad from three, and they're going to keep shooting and they're going to keep shooting threes, why would you change? Like, why would you even try to guard that? I would continue to play drop coverage to influence them to take more threes, because they're going to
Well,
keep shooting it.
sure. And what I don't want you to get going. Okay, I don't want that. It only takes, from when you have scorers and when you got shooters, it only takes one shot for a guy. I mean, when we was in Indiana, Ox knows how I feel about this. When I just need to see one of them go in. Once I see one of them go in, okay, I can get going. The last thing that you want is for a team to get going. So, I mean, I do want to play you the same way, because I don't want that water to get running. Hell no, I don't want that water to get running, because once it gets running, it's pretty difficult to turn it off. So I don't want that. No, I do not want that, sir. But good to talk to you, Classic. You know where to find me at, brother. Absolutely.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
Big fella, what's up?
What's up, Chill?
What up with you?
Chilling. I got a couple minutes. I wanted to hurry up and jump on
Yeah.
because I wanted to just get a little clarification on what you and Classic were just talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of give a little pushback too, because I hate the idea that game not counting on the record or in the stat sheets would make OKC play different. And if that's the case, then I don't see that, because I've said before that I think OKC is just a season or two away. But if their thought process is, oh, this isn't going to count on our record, the stats don't count, then I don't think that's not a championship mindset.
They're even further away. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I want to kind of get with you on that. Like, why do y'all think that it matters so much if the game doesn't count in the stat sheets or not?
Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that the game doesn't count, but I don't think that matters. Okay, just because I don't like that the game, I don't think Oklahoma City came into this game saying, "Well, this game really doesn't matter." No, they 100% wanted to win that game. They didn't come into this game with the attitude that, yo, this game, this is just a regular season game. This doesn't count toward our record. No, this is on the biggest stage. And on top of this being on the biggest stage, this can be a prelude to what the finals may be. We might see Milwaukee in the finals. We might see Oklahoma City in the finals. So if that's true, why the hell would I want to go up against a team like Milwaukee and just half-ass it? If I want to do that because this game doesn't count, you think I'm just going to turn it on when the games count? No, that's not what champions do. No.
Right.
Absolutely not. That's not what champions do.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I said, I was listening in. I'm about to take my son to practice, but when I heard that, I had to jump on and just get some.
I just don't like the fact that it doesn't count, Ox. That's my only issue. Not the fact that they're not going to play as hard, or they're going to roll over if this doesn't work. Well, this doesn't count anyway. No. I just don't like the fact that it doesn't count. That's all.
Right. I could dig that. Also, real quick too, that thought process, y'all, is why the All-Star game is so bad right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's why the powers that be are switching it up so much now, because lack of competition. If they want that instant glorification, I guess. If it's not on the stat sheet, who cares? But I'm with you though, Chill. I think that should count. But appreciate you let me pull up.
Absolutely, brother. You know what time it is with me. I told Ox I got all his music. I might not tune in all the time, but I got all his albums. Last one of them, 100%. I do. So, all right, big fella, you know where to find me at. So I'm not a fan of the games not counting, but that doesn't mean that I think that they're going to roll over because the game doesn't count. No, that in-season tournament, I mean, it is for the championship. It's for the cup. So when we open up the record books in 20 years, because the in-season tournament is going to be around 10 years from now. The in-season tournament is going to be around 15 years from now. And when we open up the books, we're going to see in December of 2024, the Milwaukee Bucks won the in-season tournament. In December of 2031, the Charlotte Hornets or the Atlanta Hawks won the in-season tournament. That's going to be in the record books. And it might not count towards your record, but it's definitely going to be in the record book. So I definitely care about, I definitely care about these guys competing. No doubt about that. I just want the game to count. That's all. That's the only spot that I'm in with that. So, but the in-season tournament, I think that in addition to it being a success, I think it's just going to be an even bigger deal. And I think that they could move it eventually. Like, I don't think it's going to stay in Vegas. I think that because we're trying to get more of the casual fan involved, I think they can put it in other locations. I think they could play it in Seattle. I think they could play the Final Four in Seattle, which Seattle can love that, right? I think they could play it in Kansas City, right? I think they can play it in Baltimore, places like that. Yes, I think that the NBA, I think that the casual fan would love that. I think they could play it in, let's see, just cities that don't have NBA teams that are close, right? Cities that don't have NBA teams that are close. Yeah. I think that I 100% think that you can do that. And I think that would make more fans who in South Dakota who there's people in South Dakota who dig Oklahoma City. Right? There's people who live in Kansas City that dig the Dallas Mavericks, but they can't get to see them, unfortunately. because they're that far away. So if you put the tournament, you put the Final Four in Kansas City, how cool would that be? Right? This Seattle would love to have their team back. I'm not saying that Seattle is considering it. They'd love to have their team back. And if you put the Final Four of the in-season tournament in Seattle, oh my God, they would love that. Because that's a basketball city. 100% it is. So, yes, it's about that time for me, guys. It was good to see you tonight. You know where to find me. I am not hard to find. I will see you guys soon. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. If you follow basketball, you know Chilton Hoops.
So this is really good right here.